Hey yo, first and foremost, shout out to Lamont Roach and Tank. That was a great fight. I enjoyed it. But yo, I'm making this video because for the whole build-up, y'all were killing me over my victory over Lamont, saying that he wasn't worthy of the Tank fight. But at the end of the day, I don't care what y'all say. I got that W. That's all I'm saying. I got the W.
The boxing world has reacted to the intense fight between Gervonta and Lamont Roach. Here are some of the most insane reactions from the fight. Lamont Roach is no stranger to Gervonta Davis, the two faced off in the amateur ranks, creating a history that adds another layer to their recent showdown. Roach's father and trainer, Lamont Roach Sr., has watched Davis evolve into a boxing superstar. However, past familiarity didn't play a role in the build-up to this fight. As tensions were high and the atmosphere was electric, my mindset is to beat him, Roach told Boxing Scene before the fight. Roach claimed his title in November 2023, defeating Hector Luis Garcia on the undercard of David Benavidez' triumph over Demetrius Andrade. He successfully defended it once against Fergal McCrow on Pro Box TV before securing a career-defining showdown with Davis, one of the biggest opportunities a boxer can seize. This camp is different because I feel like they are counting me out, said Roach. The 29-year-old's eager anticipation came in response to Terence Crawford's candid remarks. The former undisputed champion asserted that, given the current boxing landscape, only his close friend Shocker Stevenson and stablemate Keeson Davis, who recently secured a spot among the lightweight division's elite, possessed the skill to hand Gervonta Davis a significant defeat. Davis has built a reputation as a relentless finisher, forcing opponents into retreat with his power. His previous outing saw him stop Frank Martin in his Seoul 2024 fight, following a knockout victory over Ryan Garcia the year before. Lamont Roach Jr. appeared to be facing an insurmountable challenge, but the same was said about Muhammad Ali before he stepped into the ring against George Foreman in Kinshasa. And what followed became legendary, etching the rumble in the jungle into history. Kicking off with the classic line, "Roses are red, violets are blue." Lamont Roach wasted no time getting to the point on March 1st. The world may have witnessed the rise of a new WBA lightweight champion. Roses are red, violets are blue. March 1st sounds like, and the new, he said. This fight wasn't just a routine title defense for Davis or another challenge for Roach. It was deeply personal. Their rivalry dates back to 2011 when Davis bested Roach twice in the amateur ranks. Now, over a decade later, Roach was hungry for redemption and wasn't afraid to see it. But if there's one thing Gervonta Davis won't do, it's back down, especially when trash talk is involved. The moment Roach Jr. spoke up, Davis was quick to respond. Roses are red, violets are blue. March 1st sounds like, don't worry baby, you'll be home soon from the hospital. Davis fired back. Fans quickly flooded in with their reactions, ranging from enthusiastic approval to outright dismissal. One thing was clear, they were enjoying the playful back and forth. Before the fight, Terence Crawford may have thrown a wrench in the build-up, alongside Shocker Stevenson and several others rallying behind Keeson Davis. Crawford engaged with reporters, and now as the double WBO lightweight champion, the prospect of a showdown with Gervonta Davis has swiftly shifted from speculation to possibility. A reporter asked about upcoming title unification, and Crawford simply shrugged, replying, "Whoever." He added that Davis is well aware of the challenges ahead, stating he knows what he's up against when he fights Shocker or Keeson. The familiar criticism of Gervonta Davis resurfaced again as Crawford pointed out that Davis has been facing opponents who hardly measure up to his skill level. They might have a little skill here and there, but mentally, they're not going to be able to keep it up the whole fight. He said, so was Lamont Roach Jr. on the anonymous list? Crawford undoubtedly left Roach's name off the list of those who would eventually hand Tank Davis his first defeat. Those two guys, Shocker and Keeson, are going to be the ones that give Tank his first defeat, Crawford concluded.
When I said it on Twitter, it went viral when I said the top 5 thing. A lot of people agreed, a lot of people disagreed. Tank said I was a meat lover. He came in, he was like, oh, this guy, you a meat lover.
But Tank would never even think about hesitating to come up to 154.
All right, what about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. If Tank get to pick his opponent, he would do it. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
Former champion Mikey Garcia, in an interview with Fight Hub TV, weighed in on the showdown between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach while discussing the matchup. Garcia also revealed why the idea of Davis facing Shocker Stevenson doesn't excite him as much. Despite this, a potential lightweight unification clash between Davis and Stevenson remains one of the most unpredictable and intriguing bouts in the sport. Garcia said before the fight, I think Tank is one of the very best fighters, definitely. In the lightweight division, I don't think Roach would be a huge threat for Tank. Tank is very talented, very skilled, and also very experienced at this point. Now he's fought and seen pretty much every style there is. And his power is tremendous. He has that knockout power and the confidence to deliver it. He further added, it's hard to go against Tank, not to disrespect his opponent Roach. But I think Tank is a beast, and he's been proving it every fight. He probably will win this fight as well. Stevenson represents the epitome of the hit and don't get hit philosophy, effortlessly combining movement, defense, and speed to dominate his opponents and cruise to decisive victories. Though his recent performances have drawn some criticism for not being thrilling, he remains confident that when the stakes are highest, he'll rise to the occasion and deliver his best. Mikey Garcia said, I'm actually not a very big fan of that fight. Now, I do believe Shocker Stevenson is a great fighter as well. He's got the skills, the talent, great footwork, speed, reflexes, counter-punching ability. He's one of the very best. But I'm not a fan of that fight because Shocker Stevenson is the kind of fighter that he's going to fight his fight, regardless of what the critics, the fans, or anybody want to see. Winning is winning for him. Garcia further stated that as a fight fan, this approach didn't appeal to him. While he respected Stevenson's skills as a fighter and gave him full credit for his abilities, he personally preferred to see other matchups. He expressed a preference for a fight between Tank and Lomachenko, as he believed Lomachenko, despite having great footwork, speed, and reflexes, was more inclined to engage in an actual fight. He said, Shocker Stevenson's going to be a dull, not as exciting of a matchup, and I think that's why he's going to have a tough time getting some of these big fights, until he turns his style a bit and shows up a little more. Maybe then he'll get some of these fights, but until then, I don't think Tank fights him or anybody that's a serious threat. Shocker is, again, a great fighter as far as skills, but not a great fighter for the fans. Enter Tank Davis, a knockout artist whose fights rarely see the final bell. Hailing from Baltimore, he's built a reputation for delivering jaw-dropping finishes with a highlight reel that rivals the sport's best. Whispers from the gym suggest he's not just overwhelming opponents in the ring, but also leaving much heavier sparring partners battered behind closed doors. Meanwhile, veteran boxing commentator Jim Lampley predicted before the fight that Gervonta would secure his 31st career win. At his 29th knockout against Lamont Roach Jr., Lampley said, Lamont Roach has done his best to portray optimism. He has pointed out that he saw Davis in the amateur ranks and is already familiar with the 135-pound champion's precision, power, and style. He has underlined his motivation to begin fulfilling his dreams of building a legend. He has observed the money-making platform that would ensue from an upset win. He added, but what he has yet to do is present a convincing outline for how he can solve a puzzle that has produced a lengthy series of spectacularly violent knockouts and made Tank Davis one of the biggest and most upwardly mobile names in boxing. Crawford undoubtedly left Roach's name off the list of those who would ultimately hand Tank Davis the bitterness of defeat. Lampley said, even if Tank did not possess his shocking punching power, he would be an elite lightweight on the basis of his crafty boxing, southpaw style advantage, clever footwork, and visible killer instinct. But it's pure power that really sets him apart. He doesn't just beat his opponents, he annihilates them in breathtaking, often scary fashion. He added, like a career predator, he approaches his kills patiently, behaving like a counterpuncher, and then suddenly explodes into irrepressible, violent force to produce sudden finishes. His knockouts are picturesque, not unlike what we saw from Mike Tyson in the developmental stage of his career. Davis is now well beyond the developmental stage, but he is still outclassing shocked opponents. Although Roach claimed to have improved, Lampley believed that the result this Saturday was still obvious. Lampley said Roach has a quality background and is a highly competent boxer. But when I asked the most experienced boxing writer I know what chance he gave Roach in this fight, the answer was the same, the chance I give to a caterpillar crawling in the way of a steamroller. Davis by mid-round rescue TKO. Onward to potential matchups with Lomachenko, Shocker Stevenson, and Orkeeson Davis, any of whom would have a better chance than Roach. Meanwhile, Bernard Hopkins shared his thoughts on the Davis vs. Roach showdown during an interview with Michelle Joy Phelps of Fight Hub TV. Hopkins didn't hesitate to weigh in on the matchup. Tank Davis, to me, he's gonna give anybody problems. The burden is on Roach or anybody else. In this case, it is Roach. The burden is on him. Earlier this summer, Roach was first called up by the sanctioning authority to compete against interim tit list Albert BAZF. Regardless, Hopkins warned Davis that anything can happen in the world of boxing, noting that both fighters need to come in at their best. Hopkins also believes that Davis shouldn't underestimate Roach. Tank cannot underestimate Roach. Roach is a real good fighter boxer and puncher, and he had some confidence from the amateur ranks. Hopkins told Michelle. Joey Phelps, Lamont Roach, meanwhile, revealed the circumstances surrounding his fight with Davis. Roach agreed at the time, but since he wasn't yet a champion, the fight didn't go through, and the PBC ended up choosing Hector Luis Garcia. Gervonta Davis appeared to have Bernard Hopkins in his corner, but Hopkins wasn't letting him get too comfortable. He issued a warning about Roach's skills.